I'd like to introduce Kevin from England, who shares his LDN and cancer experience with us. Thank you for joining us, Kevin.
For what cancer do you take LDN for, Kevin?
Well, I don't take it at the moment. I started taking it about 6 years ago. I'll tell you the story. I had hepatitis B for many years, chronic hepatitis B, and unfortunately that developed into HCC, hepatocellular carcinoma, and I went to Hammersmith Hospital initially, and then St Mary's Hospital, and they did a resection, so they tried to remove, they cut it out basically. And then I had a couple of recurrences after about 3 or 6 months or so, and things were getting very desperate because they were recurring, regularly, and I was pretty much told that it wasn't looking good and there was nothing they could do about it. They couldn't stop the recurrences. It was all very gloomy. Anyway, purely by coincidence, I went to our mutual friend, Professor Dalgleish, who you know about.
Mm-hmm.
And only because it was quite a little bit of serendipity, really. It was only because his wife plays tennis with an old school friend of mine, his wife. So I went along just really as a sort of second opinion in the hope that something might come of it. And what he said to me was, he said, look, I've got about a dozen melanoma patients who were self-prescribing this remedy, and they've all been on it for 18 months now, and they're symptom-free, which is remarkable. He said, I can't recommend it to you because, it's not official within the NHS, and I can't do that. But he said, I thought I should tell you. So I went away and I got some LDN, and I started taking it, and quite remarkably, I had a period of 2 years, two and a half or so years, when there were no recurrences, and that was a complete change of turnaround. So things were going quite well. When they were doing one of my resections, they were ablating it, radiofrequency ablating it. They perforated my bowel, and I got perforated bowel. I had to do a hemicolectomy, and they almost killed me. And so I eventually came round. I was in hospital for 10 weeks plus, and got over that, but I was in a terrible state then. And then, as I say, I was taking the LDN, and then I had no further recurrences for certainly 2.5 years. And I went to see my consultant again, someone at Queen Mary's, and he rather dismissively said, oh, you don't need that, your liver's healing on its own, and there's no evidence to support LDN, and so don't bother. I very foolishly stopped taking it, and after 8 months, I had another recurrence, which was a couple of years ago now, and several years ago. So what did I do then? I was a bit distraught, as you can imagine, and I pretty much knew the LDN had worked for me, and I was kicking myself for stopping it. And I'd read somewhere that, people who, you have to take it for life, and that, you don't stop taking it, basically. You just keep taking it forever. Otherwise, the cancer can come back. So I'd also, in the meantime, discovered about someone else in the US, and this was someone called Dr. Bert Berkson. I'm sure you know him, don't you?
Yes.
Do you know Bert Berkson?
I've met him, yes. Mm-hmm.
So, you've met him, yeah. Well, he is an amazing character. He was a godsend for me, I can't tell you. So I thought, I had a bit of treatment in London for the tumour. They were trying to do the same again, ablate it with radiofrequency. And because it was on the margin, they said that we can't really get it all. So we're going to have to do the best we can. And then I was being treated by Prof. Roger Williams, and he managed to get this treated as a new event. And he got me on the liver transplant register after a bit of wrangling. So I was down on the list for a liver transplant at King's. And anyway, I got in touch with Berkson because I'd heard some interesting things about him. And I went to Las Cruces, which is where he's based, and he gave me a course over a period of about 10 to 12 days of alpha lipoic acid infusions, IV infusions. And I told him I was already on the LDN, so he didn't need to do anything on that, although he does prescribe the two in combination. So I after my 12 days, and I have to say, while I was in his what do you call it? Not a surgery, I suppose. Yeah. While I was at his clinic, I have to say, I met some very interesting people there, all with miracle stories. It was remarkable. I met one woman who had stage 4 terminal cancer of the pancreas and the bowel, I should say, not pancreas. And she was there, and I heard some months afterwards that she'd made a complete recovery following the same treatment that I was having. And lots of others, everyone you spoke to had an amazing story. So I was quite encouraged. Anyway, I went back, and when I had my scan after about a month getting back, they rather... Well, they told me that I was the tumour, the residual tumour that I had been completely necrosed. So I effectively didn't have one. I was then in a bit of a bind because I was on the transplant list, and we felt even then, and I still have reservations about it now, but we felt then that I really should stay on the list, because Berkson had said to me, well, if you get the offer of a transplant, he said, I wouldn't discourage you from taking it, and I've had patients who did that. So he was kind of open-minded about it. I don't know whether I would have made the same decision now, given that I knew the tumour had gone. So anyway, I had a liver transplant just coming up for 3 years ago now, and that's gone very well. And that's where I'm at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the story.
So you don't actually take LDN now as a preventative or anything?
No, I can't take it now because I'm on immunosuppressants. I have so many other stories as well in my family. Because I knew the LDN was working for me, and we kind of recommended it to a couple of other people as well. And one of them was my mother. Another one was my affiliate in my wife's company, who had melanoma. And my mother had thyroid cancer, and there's a story there as well. She was sent home, can't help you, can't do any more radiotherapy because it's too close to your brain. I gave her the balance of my LDN and said, take this, and she went back for her scan 6 weeks later, 2 months later, and they said, oh, it's all gone, it'll probably never come back, and that was the end of it. And that was her thyroid cancer, her lymphoma she had. Thyroid lymphoma, and I know what did that. It was the LDN. It was just amazing. And as I say, we gave it to our friend Suzanne, who worked for us, and her melanoma went within 2 months, and she had spots on her lungs and spots in her liver, so she was in a serious state. And after the LDN, she's just remarkable, fully recovered. Anyway, just a little bit more flavour for you.
Things like that are truly amazing, aren't they? They really are.
Oh, well, the trouble is, you talk to I've mentioned it in passing to my consultant, who was George Best's consultant when he died from liver complications. And he's almost dismissive, He listens interestingly and said, well, we live in interesting times. But getting him off his seat to do something actively about it, I just despair with them all, because it clearly does work. When I'm talking to people, I always spread the word. Not everyone listens, and it's probably not suitable for everyone, but I at least give them the option of doing something and tell them my story, and they all listen with interest, if nothing else.
Well, thank you.
It saved my life, there's no doubt about that.
Well, thank you for sharing that with me, Kevin. Appreciate it.
You're welcome,
okay.
And good luck with all your marvellous work.
I'll speak soon.
You're doing
okay.
for me. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right, all the best. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Do you have LDN experience to share? If so, please email me, linda@ldnrt.org. I look forward to hearing from you.